And Melvin does like to make it really clear about how important it is and what, come on over here, miss, how important this is and what your requirements are going to be. Please sign in. Are you supposed to be here with Alan today? Real late, right? So, when did you start?
August 22nd.
August 22nd. So we're talking about what, 2 weeks ago? Not even.
Not even.
Not even.
Right.
And you guys really got an extra like month compared to other people. I don't know how this happened, but this is really good that they got you in this early. Because normally, like August 22nd, you wouldn't have even had your first pop class until like September 22nd. But anyway, so for the first couple of months and after, and all this job search requirement stuff, this isn't even going to come yet. This isn't even going to come for weeks until after I get all your resumes redone with talks on it. So breathe, right? This is not going to, I'm not saying today, but there are people that today may want to start looking for work and will hurry up and do their resumes today. But this is in the weeks to come. So you want clerical.
Or medical billing.
Or medical billing. So then that's up to you to gainfully seek employment in those areas.
Right.
And anything that comes up with, whether it's Melvin, and there's 10 other job developers at Parks too, it's not just Melvin. We just happen to think Melvin's the best because he's here. But he may not have job leads that have that. So there's other job developers, and when you guys have your resumes back and everything, I'll give you a list of all the job developers, their phone numbers, and you can contact all of them. And all of them have access to all of your resumes once I do them. So when I do all my people's resumes, every job developer in the 5 boroughs has access to that. So they can look through it and say, you know what, I got St. Luke's Hospital that's looking for an administrative assistant. I got this place that's looking for medical billing. And then going through all the resumes and then they see that, oh, there she is. And they may call you up and say that.
I was just trying to make sure because
You'll never be
confused that you would have to take a job lead that you're not experienced in.
Absolutely. So here's something really to remember. You shouldn't be going on interviews right now at this stage of the game at a place that you don't want to work. Right? I mean, so when you stay after she's going to stay after today and talk to Mel, or after the next class, whenever. And he's going to say, well, what kind of work do you want to do? Well, I only like being a cashier. That's really what I'm lying. I don't know what the hell you want to do. But whatever it is, if you said to Melvin, I only want to be a cashier, I've got 5 years experience being a cashier. The last thing that Melvin's going to do is go like this. Well, I found a carpenter position for you. Why don't you go out on the interview? He's going to try to set her up. But you also have to be, are you supposed to be here today? You also have to be realistic too that as the months start ticking, if no medical billing places are knocking your door down and you haven't been successful in that area, you need to broaden your horizons and open your options up to other things until you can get that job. Because what's the alternative? To stay here until 6 months, and if you don't get employed in 6 months, you have to sign up. If you don't get employed in 6 months outside of Parks, what happens? Does anybody know?
Go back to the web.
What? Right.
The web or something.
Yeah, HRA sends you the web.
You work for your in the car.
No check.
Yeah. No, nothing.
If you leave Parks, if you leave this 6-month program, sir, can you put your phone away or?
I just looked up gainfully seek employment. I'm just trying to get the definition.
Okay, you can do that after. We're having a class about other stuff, and you can stay after. I told you I'll go over it a million more times with you.
Right.
I don't know where you're going to find gainfully seek.
I just had it on Wikipedia. It's there with the 9 points. That's.
Okay, well, I don't need the explanation for it because I know what it is.
No, it's not for you. It's for me.
Then look that up after class. Anything you don't understand, jot down. You can stay after class and I'll explain it to you, or you can look it up on Wikipedia. We're happy to do that. Yes, ma'am. Oh, that's fine. So yeah, if you don't find full-time employment by the end of this, HRA sends you directly to the web program, squeeze in the subway, and you don't get, and that's 40 hours a week. You don't get the paycheck. It's not in the form of a paycheck. It's back on your welfare card. You wait. I don't know what the dates are now. If it's like the 1st and the 16th or whatever. It used to be like the 1st and the 16th of the month. They put money on your card. So that's what happens. So, and that's why there is such a push. But while you're here, this is the only place, okay, this is the only place in the world that will pay you to look for work. Only place in the world. You will never, ever, 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 ever be any place else that will pay you to go look for work. So every time you're here with me, today's going to be like probably the longest session we'll have. I'm never keeping it because I'll keep it 3 hours just because we need to get over, talk about stuff. And then next class, you're just going to take a test and leave. And then after that, you're going to practice interview skills and do things together. And some people in here may be professionals at interviewing, and other people may have been at the same job for so long they haven't been on an interview in a long time. You need practice. I mean, practice doesn't help. Hurt any of us. But throughout the time that you are here, we will always try to encourage you to try to get the jobs. If that's reasonable, like obviously if I want to be an astronaut, they're going to go, look, this doesn't be an idiot. But you want to do that, then of course take your first 3 months and concentrate on that, and that should be your goal. But if time starts ticking, nobody wants to see you with a broom down the subway not getting a paycheck. So then they're going to be like, you know what, listen, okay, she has the position open over there. Go work there so you can keep putting your application. And we're all adults. This isn't like, and I like to remind people of that, like when people lose their mind over like looking for work. I like to remind people that we're all adults. This isn't like a group of 17-year-olds or 18-year-olds that have never worked before in their life. This is a group of adults who have worked in the past, right? And some people have never worked outside the home, but never got a paycheck for it or whatever. But as far as what?
Because they looked at me, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, because I like to remind people, like when you're in the real world, right? And if I have a job and if I'm working at Burger King and I don't want to work at Burger King, I don't quit my job at Burger King to find another job. I keep working at Burger King until I get that other job, right?
So that's your logic. That's your logic.
But I think it's yours too. I don't think you can put it on.
I just don't want to, speak for an entire group. I hear what you're saying, but that's not everybody's logic.
That should be your logic. And I want you to take advantage of the time that we're giving you here at Parks paid to look for employment. You should do that. Utilize all the services that you have for you here. Nowhere else in life will people pay you to look for work. Every time you're here, I'll keep you here 3 hours, you're getting paid 8. So those people, when your resumes are all handed back to you and stuff like that, what are you doing with the other 5 hours? If you want to go home and take a nap, that's good. But at the end of 6 months, if you haven't found employment, that's why. You've got 5 extra hours, 5 hours of pay every time you're with me to go look for work. Every time. If you get an interview, so when you guys start applying for jobs, when you get an interview, and your resume is going to be out all over the place. Either that or you're putting in applications all over the place, right?
Right.
So, once you do that, hopefully places are going to call you back. And once they do that, they're going to call you and say, what's your name?
Charles Thomas.
Charles Thomas, we got your resume here, we'd like you to come in next Monday for an interview. What do you do? You say yes, of course, right? Ask who you're speaking to, who the interview's with, when it is, da-da-da-da-da-da, and we're going to go over all this in the next few months. So I'm just giving one example here. What do you do as far as pop? Who do you notify?
Notify you, Mr. King.
Yep, call here, tell me and Melvin, right?
Yeah, Mrs. King or Melvin.
Ellen and Melvin. And then who else do you tell?
Presume the supervisor.
Your supervisor. And then they're going to give you a number for the call out. Has everybody heard about that already?
Yeah.
So this number in the call box, and I think it's number, I don't even know what number it is. Say it's number 6 or whatever. You're going to hit number 6, job search, da-da-da-da-da. And that day, so say it's next Monday, right? So if your interview happens to be all the way out in Brownsville, Brooklyn, and you tell me that when you call, because you're always going to tell us at least 24 hours ahead of time that you have an interview. If it's all the way out in Brownsville, I'm going to say to you, good luck on your interview. Got enough resumes and everything else that you need? You're going to say yes. Okay. Come back to us after 2 o'clock or after your interview. Because it's going to take half the day to get out to Brownsville and then do your interview and come back. If you live here and your interview is down on 135th, you're going to be told, all right, listen, take the whole day off of work Go apply it